Who would have thought that two names that have been known as symbols of joy, friendship, and strength in the music world, are now the center of attention because of a secret message that was read in the silence of the military barracks? Why did the whole room become silent after this message was read? Who was crying softly in the corner of the room when Jungkook's voice echoed? And is it true that this is their last farewell as fellow soldiers? June is almost here. And with the arrival of the 6th month, the moment of farewell that they had never imagined before is also approaching. In the midst of the discipline of South Korean military life, two names that were often juxtaposed because of their closeness, namely Jungkook and Taehyung, now stand in two equally disciplined worlds. Jungkook, who was assigned to the 5th Division, a unit with a busy schedule and a reputation for high discipline. And Taehyung, a free-spirited artist who was undergoing his mandatory military service in a special military unit with a focus on public service duties and arts and culture training, approaching the end of his term in June. But who would have thought that the farewell would actually be a moment that shook the entire unit? Not because of the official ceremony, not because of the Medal of Honor ceremony, but because of a voice message recorded by Jungkook himself, and it was only intended for one person, Taehyung. That was the beginning of Jungkook's voice message that managed to break the silence in the military break room of the division where Taehyung was assigned. Not a single soldier in the room thought that that day would be remembered as the day when everyone stopped talking and started feeling. According to an anonymous inside source, the message was played by Taehyung himself, secretly, but was heard by other soldiers in the same room. In the 5-minute message, Jungkook spoke in a different voice than usual, heavier, hoarse, and seemed to be holding back something that could not be fully expressed. Every morning when my barracks wake up and we all run, I often imagine you beside me like before. But now I run alone, and I can only hope that you run, even if in a different place. And you know what the hardest thing is? Not the running but the fact that I can't see your smile after that. You don't have to be a BTS fan to understand the burden of those words. In a military where emotions are often buried deep in the name of survival, these messages are more than just expressions of longing, they are the cries of a heart that has been pent up. Many have asked why Jungkook chose to send the message now, a month before Taehyung's discharge. What made him finally speak up, after months of appearing strong and not showing his emotional side? Some have theorized that Jungkook, despite being in different divisions, has always felt like he has an invisible bond tying him to Taehyung, like a connection that formed long before they donned their uniforms, when they were two young men dreaming of changing the world through music. I never said this, but when you first entered the military, I was a little worried. I was afraid that I would have to go through this without you by my side. But now, when it's your turn to be discharged first, I'm even more worried. Afraid that after this, things will never be the same again. The military division barracks that day were not just witness to emotional messages. They were witness to heart-wrenching silences, chuckles disguised as coughs to appear less fragile, and tears that were silently wiped away by the cuffs of their uniforms. And the question now is, what will Taehyung do after hearing this message? Will he reply, or just keep it a secret as part of the memories that only the two of them understand? That night, Taehyung didn't say anything after Jungkook's message stopped playing. He just stared straight ahead at the empty walls of the barracks, as if he was looking into a place much deeper than just a simple room where soldiers sleep in turns. His barrack mates just exchanged glances, confused about how to behave. No one dared to ask, no one wanted to break the silence that hung in the air. A few seconds after the long silence, a soldier with a deep and slow voice said, "He really loves you, huh?" Taehyung didn't answer, he just nodded slightly, and for the first time since wearing his military uniform, his eyes looked completely wet. That night, outside the window, the spring breeze blew gently, blowing the young leaves that had just grown. But inside the barracks, the atmosphere was like the end of autumn, quiet, cold, and full of forgotten memories. The relationship between Jungkook and Taehyung was not just an ordinary friendship. For those who have followed BTS' journey since the beginning, the names Taehyung and Jungkook have long been a symbol of intimacy, silliness, and togetherness. The two of them grew up together since they were teenagers, went through the arduous training period, slept in the same room for years, and watched their dreams slowly come true.